WWE disagreement over where The Rock should wrestle. All the details on WWE's game-changing Netflix deal and AEW facing a WCW-style crisis. And that's it. There's no other big stories. Because I re-recorded the news twice yesterday. That, AEW hasn't been bought by Tesla, has it? Or Kurt Angle's not going to become the new CEO of Amazon, is he? Dixie Carter's not the number 30 entrant in the Royal... Okay. I've just looked at the news again and just read that John Cena has announced he'll be retiring from WWE in the next 3 years. No! I'm sorry, John. I don't have the time in this video. And that's at least a couple of years away. Just go to WrestleTalk.com. Go to WrestleTalk.com. All the news is there. There's so much news. I'm only going to talk about the news that I just listed at the start of the video. I'm Oli Davis, and this is WrestleTalk Newsception.
Support WrestleTalk!
Like the 22nd of July 2022, when Vince McMahon announced his retirement on Twitter, or the 3rd of April 2023, when WWE announced its sale deal with Endeavor. January 23rd, 2024 will go down as one of the most important dates in modern wrestling history. As after establishing itself as one of the most iconic fixtures in the business, watching wrestling will never be the same again. Vince McMahon has shaved off his creepy moustache. So in honor, this moustache breaks for you, Vince. Oh yeah, and Monday Night Raw got bought by Netflix. In an expertly crafted business 1-2 combination, WWE announced Rock the Dwayne Johnson would be joining their parent company TKO's board of directors, to then follow it up with news that Netflix have bought the rights to Raw, which would start from 2025. Meaning not only did WWE have a huge business win, finalizing their last remaining TV rights negotiation after USA Network got SmackDown and the CW got NXT, they also had one of the biggest celebrities on the planet to go round and do interviews, ensuring every single news outlet in the world would cover the story in the best possible way. It's easy to get dazzled though with Rock's beaming smile and impossible body image standard, so here's the actual meat on the WWE Netflix deal's bone, which can be summed up in one word: money! In an update to the $400 million per year for 5 years deal Variety initially reported on, which was already a huge increase on what Raw currently makes, CNBC claims the pay is actually $500 million per year and for 10 years, meaning in total this is worth an insane $5 billion to WWE. For context, the USA Network was paying around $250 to $260 million per year, meaning Nick Khan has managed to practically double Raw's rights fees. Although that number is somewhat misleading because it also includes all of the international rights for places like the UK and Canada. It was previously reported WWE was looking for a deal in the range of $400 million per year. An incredible 25% increase on their wildest reported dreams is the premium WWE wanted to take. The Streaming Gamble. The Streaming Gamble, title of your next WWE Netflix pay-per-view. While it's for a lot of money and could result in WWE being available to more people globally than ever before, Raw going off traditional TV to streaming is still unprecedented. I doubt WWE would have taken the risk if Netflix were offering in the same $400 million range as a USA Network or WBD. That extra $100 million per year makes it worth it, because WWE, masterminded by Nick Khan, have actually balanced their risk. While Raw will be moving to Netflix, their most watched show of the last 5 years, SmackDown, will be on traditional TV on the USA Network, as will NXT on the CW. But it's not just WWE that is somewhat hedging hedging their bets, the deal is a huge gamble for Netflix too, as this will be their first venture into weekly sustained live scheduled programming. Rather ironically for a company that tore up the traditional TV model when they uploaded the whole first season of House of Cards at the same time in 2013, creating the concept of the binge watch, they are now attempting to stand out again in a more competitive streaming market by going back to the habit-forming live programming of traditional broadcasts, which is probably why Netflix have baked a few potentially vital get out or get further in clauses into the length of their contract. As Brandon Thurston notes on X, TKO's SEC filing about the Netflix deal shows Netflix has the option to cancel the 10-year deal with WWE after just 5 years, and has the option to extend the deal for an additional 10 years, meaning the WWE Netflix term could end up being 5 years, 10 years, or 20 years, whichever Netflix chooses. So if all goes well, we could be watching WrestleMania 60 on Netflix on Mars with robot Elon Musk. But what day of the week would we be watching it on? I don't really know how Mars days work. Many noted that the WWE Netflix announcement only ever called the flagship show Raw, instead of its full name, Monday Night Raw. So, as part of the heavily friendly media tour, where WWE CEO Nick Khan was interviewed by WWE personality Pat McAfee on his ESPN podcast show, they have agents everywhere, they're like Hydra, WWE. Khan spoke about the topic of Some Night Raw. At this moment in time, it remains as Monday Night Raw. We're getting a massive rating against big competition. If we stay on Monday, it will work, and if we move it to a different day, it will work too. At least we know Raw will stay Monday nights for the rest of this year. But what about those few months at the end when they no longer have a network? Raw's rights deal with the USA Network actually expires in October, a couple of months before it's due to start streaming on Netflix at the start of 2025. Variety is reporting it's still to be determined where Raw will air in those few months. I'd imagine they agree an extension with the USA Network, as they still have a good relationship there, with SmackDown set to move to the station, and all their US streaming content being on the same company's Peacock platform. On that Peacock deal, it's actually in effect for at least another 2 years until 2026, so that will remain the place for WWE's PLEs and video library in the US. Internationally, from 2025, practically everything will move to Netflix. But what about commercial breaks? Again, the intensive media tour has you covered. It's going to be very similar to watching AEW Dynamite on Fight. But before I get into that, here's a special message from Turbo Jack.
It's okay, maybe I don't need a loving relationship and family. I got you, old Goldie, my big gold belt that's definitely real. You're all I got now. Oh, hi there! I'm 80s wrestler Turbo Jack. WrestleTalk paid me a monthly wage to read out the Patreon shoutouts for their Patreon. You go over to patreon.com/WrestleTalk. You can get a shout out and loads of exclusive content, like monthly exclusive episodes of Survival Series, done remotely. I don't know what that means. I'm from the 80s. So thank you. The $100 Man CD Hub, Big Jiggy, Josh Martin, Double L, Liam Leonard, The Matt Man, Matthew Allen, Abominable, Michael Abbott, Ryan Disco, Stewart, Thomas the Prize Hooker, Solazano. Where there's a will, there's a Will Campbell. The Machine Gun, Alex Anderson, and the Roller Coaster, Robert Acosta. Please go over to patreon.com/WrestleTalk. You're all I got.
Netflix's CEO, Ted Sarandos, hopes that the WWE deal should also add some fuel to our new and growing ad business. This is where you pay slightly less to Netflix each month, but you get ads served to you while you watch. Kind of like YouTube versus YouTube Premium. CNBC reports that Netflix currently has 23 million subscribers worldwide on that tier. So Raw will continue to structure their shows and matches around ad breaks, which resulted in this wonderful line from the article. I love it when real-life news outlets cover wrestling and they say things like, "The upcoming fights." Here's CNBC's version. Matches will be scripted around commercial breaks to satisfy ad-free customers, who will see continued action from live matches that aren't important to the outcome, such as a wrestler in a sustained headlock, according to a person familiar with the matter. Sustained headlock, title of your first WWE Netflix PLE. What that means, CNBC, is that those ad breaks gonna be frickin' boring. To cap off the media tour, the company's latest addition to the board of directors, The Rock, made a surprise appearance at the WWE headquarters in Stamford, Connecticut, which WrestleVotes reported was to help celebrate a massive day for the company. But apparently, behind the scenes, there's some disagreement on what The Rock's next in-ring step should be. On the Day 1 edition of Raw, The Rock seemingly set up a WrestleMania 40 main event against his tribal cousin Roman Reigns, teasing he would be sitting at the head of the table for his dinner that night, which presumably consisted of 85 pancakes. There hasn't been any on-screen follow-up from The Rock since, and there's been various reports saying it's up in the air for WrestleMania, as that spot was planned for a rematch between Reigns and Cody. One rumor even had Rock versus Reigns taking place at February's Elimination Chamber PLE in Australia instead, although that's since been debunked. Because really, there's a far more fitting place for The Rock to have his likely final ever match, one that's been in the works for almost 3 years, not in front of 65,000 people in Australia, not at the biggest show of the year in WrestleMania. How about Saudi Arabia? According to Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio, as of January 23rd, Rock had still not signed for a WrestleMania match. Although it is absolutely in play, it is not a done deal. He wants to do WrestleMania this year. But Meltzer notes not everyone in WWE thinks WrestleMania is the way to go. There are forces that are interested in how much value he could bring to Saudi Arabia. He would rather do WrestleMania as it stands now. There's balls in play, nothing is 100%. There are people who would like to convince him if they can make a ton of extra money from Saudi Arabia to do it there. The Rock also mentioned in a media interview that day that now he is on the board of directors, sometimes company profit, i.e. Saudi Arabia, will come before what he wants for himself personally. How do you think The Rock wrestling in Saudi Arabia would be received? Let me know in the comments where I'll be replying to people from out of nowhere. Momentum is a powerful force. As WWE just keeps having win after win after win, AEW, despite its best efforts, is facing another canary in the coal mine stat. The Wednesday 24th episode of AEW Dynamite had only sold less than 2,000 tickets just one day out. This is part of an ongoing run of declining live event ticket sales, typically a strong indicator of how hot a promotion is. Sure, people will continue to watch on TV week after week, but getting them out the house to go to a show in person is a big ask. Dave Meltzer has outlined that 4,000 is a good live attendance number for AEW. Under 3,000 is pretty bad, and under 2,000 is really bad, comparing it to WCW's Death Spiral numbers in their final year. More optimistically, AEW pay-per-view interest remains very strong, with their last World's End show performing incredibly well, and the upcoming Revolution event, which will see Sting's last ever match, has sold a very healthy 15,000 plus tickets. It's the Royal Rumble this Sunday, so go count down the 12 greatest number 30 entrants ever over on Parts Unknown right now.